Welcome back to our Work Happy series. And today we're talking with Enneagram 7, Rachel Priddy. And oh my gosh, what fun is an Enneagram 7 at work? We all love the positive environment and creativity that a 7 brings to the workplace. And I can't wait to share this conversation with you. This is 9 in 9, Enneagram Wisdom for Life. Let's dive in. Sevens are full of energy and positive, and we love that in the workplace. But I think a couple of other gifts that they bring is their ability to be adaptable and the way that they're going to focus on the customer experience. Listen to this conversation that I had with entrepreneur Rachel Priddy as she discussed the major pivot she had to make after opening her coffee house just days before the COVID shutdown.
My business started right during COVID, and we got our certificate of occupancy, that final permit to open our doors of our coffee shop, 20 minutes before the governor announced the stay home order for in March of 2020. And so we had to be drive-through exclusively, but there was a write-up in I think it was the Indy Star about barista therapy because, we were essential. That was the language, it's like we were essential because we were an essential business because we were offering food. And so knowing that, everyone was on lockdown and coming through the drive-through might be the only human interaction when they had outside of their family that day. And so I trained my staff, like on a scale of 1 to 10, how's your day going? Oh, it's a 7. Well, what could make it an 8? And just, really, I think our mission as a coffee shop, it was, it's bringing community. And so I think my people oriented nature, it trumps. I wanted excellence of our coffee drinks because that is important to the people we're serving and what they're buying from us. But it was really always driven by the people and connecting with our customers.
Oh, that's so neat. I love that. How can we make it an 8? It's a 7. How can we improve that? That's so good. What does that look like today now that COVID is over? Do you guys still interact with the customers that way?
It completely changed my business. I set out to open a coffee shop, and our tagline, Work, Play, Espresso. I wanted other entrepreneurs to connect. I wanted moms with side hustles and, so many people doing their own freelance things. And I wanted them to have a place where they could come and have a conversation with a friend, get an email out, have a conference call they needed, and have a play area for their children. And so that work, play, espresso was my mission with the coffee shop. And then immediately after we opened our doors, what our customers still wanted was the mobile espresso bar experience that we had been serving in for the year prior to opening our doors of the brick and mortar. And it completely changed to where I went that first year from. We had an espresso cart. We built out our first trailer. Then we bought a second horse trailer to convert for weddings, and then we got a drivable van, sprinter van. And our latest is that we just have grown our fleet to include a school bus because we do so many events for the schools. So I hit the 5-year mark. I ended up selling my coffee shop to focus fully on bringing our coffee to our customers and being a mobile coffee company.
It's easy for us to imagine that 7s feel happy and positive and optimistic all the time, but that really isn't true. And I love that Rachel shared with me how sometimes, as a business owner, no matter how much she looks at the data, no matter how much planning and future focused thinking she, puts into it, she still sometimes doesn't feel the safety and the security and the contentment that she longs for. And then what about the need for stability, security, safety? So that's, as an entrepreneur, that's really a brave thing to do when that's your primary essential need. So how does that feel in the daily life of your work?
Maybe I'm leaning into the thinking part of it, but emotionally it doesn't feel good. I was just telling my sister on the way here that, I know what my goal is of how many mobile events I'm booking every week.
Mhm.
I know that I have hit my goal for this next month. I know intellectually, thinking wise, I'm right where I need to be, right where I planned I would be, right where I projected and knew, and all of that. It still feels like I'm not successful. It still feels really scary and insecure and unstable.
Mm,
So maybe, yeah, maybe like that thinking part is able to just kind of trump that, even though it still feels uncomfortable.
yeah, that's right. So you kind of help yourself feel more secure by going to the data, by going to the calendar, by going to the booked event, like the thinking it through. Okay, that's really good. As a seven, you're always out in front. Like you're planning ahead, you're thinking of the next shift that you could make, the next idea, the next project. And we have a very, very future focused mind. You're also really, really going to be into the planning and the details and the data. The shift that I would invite you to make is to let your feelings catch up with all of your planning. So much of the motivation behind planning and being future focused as a seven is to avoid pain and fear and that feeling of maybe instability or insecurity. And so the immediate response is to jump straight into planning in order to kind of alleviate those uncomfortable feelings. I want to invite you to trust the planning that you've done and go ahead and acknowledge those scary feelings or the not so good feelings, as Rachel puts it. Sit with them and then really trust that you've done what you can do. Let your feelings catch up because you cannot outplan and you cannot outrun your feelings forever. It will cause you to be burned out and isolated. So that's the shift I'm inviting you as a seven to make. Let those feelings catch up with all that planning. Hey, seven, you know what's a good time? Is a good time is getting together with some friends and talking about the Enneagram and learning your number in a deeper way. I've got one more class that I'm offering in 2025, and I'd love for you to be there. It's called Enneagram Made for More. And as a podcast listener, just use the discount code podcast, and you're going to save $99. And that's fun too, right?